So I needed new running shoes, and when I went to the Nike website, I saw hundreds of shoes and I had no idea which ones were the best for my preferences. Because my ankles hurt with basically all the shoes, so I really needed good shoes for my ankles. On the Nike website, we still have some very traditional search boxes, so I needed to check some boxes and I needed to make sure that I was filtering based on my needs. So this got me thinking, why isn't there an AI agent that will recommend me shoes? I would love to be able to just type in, I want good running shoes that are good for my ankles, and then get the results based on that. So I built it. And I'm going to take you through the whole process of building the AI agent, making sure the recommendations are good, and also creating front end that looks one-on-one with the real Nike website. So let's dive in. So my first question was, can the web search tool recommend URLs that actually work, like the correct URLs to a product? And I wanted to test this out, so I made this simple agent where we have an advisor and it just gives answers to the user's question, and it uses the web search tool to look for URLs of a specific shoe. And we get a chat response, and that is just the suggestion for this shoe. So when I tested this, we say provide me the URL to Pegasus 41 running Nike shoe on the Nike website. So if we run this, it first looks like it's a pretty good response. We get a URL to the Nike website, to the Pegasus 41 men's road running shoes. And when we click this, we get this page 9 out of 10 times. So it's a product that is no longer available. And obviously we don't want to recommend pages that don't exist. So this was a problem. And obviously I don't work at Nike. I don't have access to the Nike database. So I needed to find a workaround on how we can still recommend URLs that are valid. And this got me thinking, most of websites have a sitemap. So if we go look for Nike sitemap XML, we have this, and these are all the URLs on the Nike website. And Nike has a lot of web pages. They have 10,000 product pages, and obviously that's way too much. So the first step, what we needed to do is we need to copy paste all these URLs and clean the dataset. So I made this Python file and I put all the XML into this file. And it's really a lot, but it's structured pretty good because between everything is daily 0.5. And we can filter this out and then we only have URLs. But as you can see here, we also have swimsuits, and that's not something we want to recommend as well. So in this file, we split it on daily 0.5 and we look for keywords. So we are looking for Air Maxes, Pegasus, shoes, sneakers, footwear, and runner. And from that, we get structured results. And we also look for images on the product page. Because when we are recommending a shoe, we want to add an image to this as well. So all of these URLs are then saved in this file, and this is something we can work with. And it's still a lot. It's still 3,000 lines, but we can now work with this data. So the plan is to make an agent that can recommend valid URLs. And we now have the URLs, but we still need to match the suggestion of the AI to the URL. And that is exactly when another problem came up. Because we want to recommend shoes based on real knowledge. And we don't want to use ChatGPT for this because we need to make sure that the recommendations are solid and correct. So I found a lot of information on shoes and I made a document from this. So this document contains all kind of information on shoes, but also other information. And I can see this being much larger, having much more information on shoes and when to recommend which shoes. But for now, this is working fine. So what we did is we put this document into a vector store of OpenAI and we uploaded it here so that our agent will recommend shoes based on real knowledge. Then with those shoe recommendations, look for URLs that are most similar and then suggest those URLs to the user. So once I had all the sources that we need for the agent, I started building, and I will now show you the agent that I created. So it will always return a chat response with suggestions, and this is a list of shoe suggestions. And one shoe suggestion has a shoe name, a shoe image, a shoe description, and a shoe URL. And we have two agents. One main agent, which is here. So if we make a chatbot for this, then having a main agent is really nice because it can orchestrate between different routes. For now, it always handoffs to the advisor. And the advisor is here. So we say that based on the user's query, so that could be, hey, my ankles hurt every time I go running, so I want new shoes. We first need to identify the main criteria or features from the user's query. For example, if the user says, I need running shoes for long distances with good cushioning, the criteria are running shoes, long distance, and good cushioning. Use the web search tool or the file search tool to find 3 shoe models matching these criteria. So we are not using only the file, which is in the vector store that I just showed you. We are also using web search tool. So we can look on the web for shoes that are good for long distance running, for example. Then for each of these 3 shoe models, use the find shoe URL tool with the shoe model's name to obtain a list of potential URLs and their descriptions. So this is the find shoe URL function. And what we do is we loaded all the filtered URLs, and that is this file. So we now have access to all these valid URLs for shoes. We then do keyword search. So if I'm looking for a different example, Air Maxes, then we are returning 10 URLs for Air Maxes. Then once we have this list of URLs, we need to select the shoe whose description best fits the criteria from the user's query. So we are comparing all the descriptions of the shoes to pick the most relevant one. And then we do this for 3 shoes, and we prepare a final recommendation with those 3 shoes. So we return it as suggestions that are specified here, and then we have 3 recommendations. So if I run this and I say I need new shoes for running, let's see what it comes up with. So we get suggestions. So we get a Nike Pegasus, we get a Nike Downshifter, and a Nike Revolution 7. Okay, so this is looking pretty good, but this wouldn't be nice. This wouldn't be presentable. So I tested out Manus AI, and I already made a video about this. But the first thing I tried out with Manus AI was creating the front end of a website. And I was absolutely blown away by what it could do. So I'm going to show you what I did. So if we go to Manus, we can go to the tasks. And what I asked it was, I want to build an app. It will work on an API call. Obviously, that's the Python code that we have. It's a landing page of a website of Nike. And it gives the user the ability to fill in what kind of shoe they are looking for. Once we have their input, we call the API, provide them with an answer and the URL to the recommended shoe. Please write out this code for me. It should be super modern and sleek, something Nike could release in 2025. Do it in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And it created this whole plan for creating the front end, and it then provided me the code. So I will now show you the end result of what Manus created. I think 5 minutes of manually changing stuff, but 99% of this was Manus AI. So in my folder, we have this Nike landing page. And if I show you what it looks like, we have this, and literally I didn't do anything about this. This was all Manus's work, and I think it looks super realistic. We have these effects. It's looking awesome. And what I can now do, I can say, I want new running shoes that are good for my ankles. And I can say, find my shoes. This animation is something Manus AI did, so really cool. The agent in the backend is looking for shoes. So let's see what it comes up with. Okay, so awesome. So it gave the Nike Pegasus 41, and this is because in our Notion we have Nike Pegasus 41 here. So really cool. We have the Vomero and the Nike Invincible 3. So really awesome. We can now say view details, and we can go to the page. So I would use this. I really see a lot of potential behind this, and to be honest, everything looks so good. But not only running shoes, I'm going to show you some other examples of what it can do. So what if I say I want to look a bit more popular? Can you show me some really popular shoes? So let's try this out. Okay, so the Nike Air Forces are for sure popular. So let's try it out. Okay, valid URL. It's sold out. So obviously I cannot know that on forehand. So if you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and I see you in the next one.